So, guys, I've tried to be good faith with Aaron, but we got to move on. Now, I'm still going to cover Aaron. I'm not doing one of those, I quit my Church of Scientology. But I got to be totally honest, looking at the YouTubes and just, this is literally local. I'm near New York. It's not next door, but it's very close. So the Mamdani thing is getting really big and hot, and it is really interesting and hilarious. Even if you're not into politics, the psychopathic hysteria is just frankly very amusing, just at the entertainment level. So I'm going to cover more of that. Please forgive me. I understand if it's not exactly your thing, but please give every video a chance. Please. I mean, every little bit helps. And I am not joking. I'm in very financial straits here. It's very tough. And believe me, I'm posting to every job I can see. Minimum wage at this point, I don't care. I just need anything. So part of this is what I do with Aaron. I get this feedback. Oh, you're just jealous. Okay, I mean, that's not an argument. I'm always like really in awe of the insanity of the defenses of the Church of Uranus, because they always just go to these very emotive personal attacks, saying you're just jealous and okay, he's a grifter, so are you. Yes, but I'm a grifter. If I call myself a grifter, let's say I admit, okay, I'm a grifter. Do I have a violent, vicious, fascist cult? No, no, I don't. No, I don't. Aaron does. So, maybe study the law. So Aaron is trying to, well, he's doing several things. So Aaron is trying to basically cohere for his propaganda. Well, listen. So Alonzo and Jerry Armstrong, and let me be very clear, they're not identical. So they're fighting the church, but they're saying, let's focus on the upper management and the leadership. And Aaron's like, no, 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 that doesn't work out for my propaganda, my Seor. Because, that's his way to make his money. He just mocks these very lower Scientologists. He'll just mock a Scientologist who does a few courses and say, oh, we're fighting the evils. And no, we're not. We're just, we're pulling off a scam. So the question is, who's telling the truth and who's getting it right? So Alonzo was a college student. He was in Scientology a very long time. He left after he was disillusioned, lost a lot of money, and became an anti-Scientologist that became disillusioned with the lying and the grifting and the fraud of the anti-Scientologists. Now, to be fair, he became disillusioned before Aaron became prominent, but Aaron does validate his prediction that, well, really, they're creating their own. It is very vicious. It's very violent. So Alonzo's theory is it's the Sea Org. It's the Sea Org and the upper management are these fanatics, and they're the most corrupt part of Scientology. There's other bad parts of Scientology, but that's what we need to focus on. And Aaron is like, no, 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 guys, no. Here, what happened? Okay, maybe that was the 80s, but now the Sea Orgo and the Orgos and Miscavige, they all did a mind meld. They all becoming mixed together. And Natalie, being the nice mouse, is like, yeah, mein Führer. Yeah, mein Führer. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is what's known as a logical which we're going to get to with Mamdani, because the hysteria there makes no sense. And again, I'm very critical of Vaush, but his take on this was very correct. Like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. That's contradicting what you said. It doesn't make sense with our history. So let's suppose Aaron is correct. That makes no sense. What he's saying then is that after the 80s, oh, guys, it got really fanatical. It got really crazy and evil. Oh, my children in the auditings. Oh, my Lord. But here's a problem. Aaron left Scientology when he was very young. How did he do that? Did he escape the prison cell? No. Okay, here's the really shocking. He went back in Scientology. That's right. He got out. Then he got back in. So by his own standard, Scientology is getting so evil. The org and the G-org and the ethics. Oh, the auditing, all the atrocities. Oh, my Lord, the abuse. And but Aaron, you went back in. Yeah, I went back in. And final kicker, when Danny Masterson, who he allegedly hates, when Danny Masterson was in Hollywood and doing all those horrific things, you know who else was in LA? Aaron! Aaron and his wife. And apparently it's a well-known secret. Yeah, Danny's doing some horrible things. And it was a run in the She-Org. Oh, okay. But now Aaron is like, oh, guys, the Danny, the abuse, little Iran. No, there's no evidence Aaron ever cared about these victims. It's all a scam. And he's literally boasting, the She-Org and the orgs, and it got more evil after the 80s. But Aaron, you were in Scientology after the 80s. Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? I mean, that would mean I'm really evil. Right. So he's literally lampshading, yeah, I'm a really evil thug. I joined Scientology when it's getting more and more evil. Yeah, that's really weird. No, Aaron, it's not weird. You're proving what Alonzo was saying in your own twisted way. But, that's Aaronis. He actually confesses to being evil and then says, yeah, guys, let's talk about Tom Cruise. I'm more good than Tom Cruise. No, I think arguably, and Tom Cruise is horrible because of using slave labor, he actually might be a better person than you. That's how horrible you are. But now let's move on to the Mamdani hysteria and how Charlie Kirk is saying the quiet part out loud. Now, I'm more on the left. I am willing to be open to these arguments with pro-socialism or pro-liberalism because I gotta be honest, yeah, a lot of people are hurting. They don't have jobs, they don't have money, the wealth inequality is insane. So there's a good case for what he's doing. So a lot of the hysteria is, oh, he's going to radicalize communism, oh, the Soviet, yeah, yada, yada. But Charlie Kirk is willing to say the quiet part, saying, guys, I think we need to talk about this. And well, what do we need to talk about, Charlie? Oh, and by the way, there's an anti-Scientology connection, which I'll get to Megyn Kelly, because good on Megyn. She's very critical of Tom Cruise. I'll give her a point for that. But we'll revisit the Scientology angle. So Charlie's like, we need to talk about this. And it's like, what, Charlie? He's a Muslim. Right. And he's like, now, guys, I'm not a racist. I'm not a bigot. I have a doctor who's a Muslim. This is Charlie Kirk. Right. So he's literally saying, okay, yeah, that stuff is horrible. Like, I'm really scared. Taxes for billionaires will go up. By the way, apparently another state on the East Coast did that. There were a few issues, but basically things got better. So maybe some taxes for the super rich. We're not talking even 100 million. We're talking like super billionaires. It may get a little higher for them. So, tough times for Bloomberg. Anyway, so Charlie is like, guys, the Muslams, they're mayors in other cities too, like London. We've lost Londonis. Now the kingdom of New Yorkis could be in danger because he's a Muslim. And he eats with his hands. And Megyn Kelly's like, yes, and this is all intentional. So it's been a conspiracy for decades by the Muslams. What's the evidence? Well, they played this early 90s tape where this young Muslim girl is like, guys, we need to get out there, educate like a Sea Org. Like, yes, we need to get out there and sign them up to our Scientology Muslim brotherhood experience. Shocker. Have I seen, quote, Muslims in New York? Yes, of course. Have I met Muslims, black Muslims, and non-black Muslims? White? Yes, that's right. I've gone to New York so many times, I've lost count, like 50, 60, it's been a lot. For job interviews or just to hang out, or I even went there for a conference on religion, actually. Okay, anyway, been to different parts of New York, central New York, even at that time for the conference I went to Buffalo. Okay, been to lots of parts of New York. Have I ever seen full-blown, women wearing burqas or, they're chanting Islamic music in Penn Station? No. No. So if this was a master plan by the Muslim to caliphate the East Coast, I'm not seeing it. And I do see many Indians around my neighborhood. I do see many Muslims, obviously. Have I seen it? Have I seen sometimes? Because Muslims have to pray 5 times. Yeah, I've seen it. I'm not going to lie. Some are like, okay, that's a little out there. I grew up in a more, whatever you call it, traditional household. Have I seen full-blown the East Coast become Muslimized? No. So Charlie Kirk's objection to Mamdani is, guys, Muslim.
Sort of radicalism, but I do think that there is a pattern recognition that for whatever reason people get really mad when you mention, which is like, wait a second, we now have Sadiq Khan, and we have Ilhan Omar, we have Rashida Tlaib, and now Mamdani, and none of these people have nice things to say about Western civilization.
I'm waiting for the argument. No, that's his argument. I am very disturbed at his Muslimness. I'm very disturbed. What can this mean for New York? What can this mean for the world? Oh, yes, by the way, he added, and Megyn Kelly did too. Oh, by the way, there's some Muslims in Congress. Yes, there are. Like 5 of them? Guys, check out the statistics. to this day, America is mostly a Christian country. By far, the number of Christians way, way larger than Muslims. Like, not even close. Like the Scientologists, I think they're less than 1% of the population. Now, I'll be totally honest. I think we should be critical, skeptical of all these things. So, am I suspicious of Muslims getting power? Sure. I'm suspicious of Scientologists getting power. I'm suspicious of any group getting power. That's how I roll. Any group getting power, we should be really suspicious. But that's all Charlie Kirk said. He's like, guys, he's a Muslim. I may start crying now. Okay. By the way, his central program, like the most they could find him is like, oh, he wants to globalize the Intifada. That's it. He just put out a very pro-Palestinian, pro-left wing, and they're going into these hysterics like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Down, make it into a poor version of Gotham. And so I want to make sure everyone in the audience understands. So there are some good Muslims out there, obviously, but as Islam has crept its way into the power centers of the West, it has not materially improved our life. In fact, it's done the exact opposite.
And that's being done intentionally. It's being done intentionally.
That's the point. And
we're going to become Pakistan or Afghanistan or one of the stands. That's not even part of his program. He doesn't even care about that. Like, he's like focused on some taxes, some social policies, more stuff for kids, more free benefits, things like that. I don't agree with all these policies, by the way. Some of them sound a little more iffy to me, but apparently they've been tried out in Europe, like quote, government grocery stores. That's been tried out. It apparently does work. So anyway, I'll give them this. So the usual right-wing maniacs, they're getting like, oh no, Soviet breadlines. But Charlie is willing to say what they all think. He's willing to say, guys, yeah, he's a Muslim. I'm going to ask questions. Is he really loyal to America, or is he part of the Caliphate from Egyptio? Is he really part of the Muslim Brotherhood? He's been here for decades. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know. But, I mean, it's nice to laugh at this stuff, but apparently they're for real. We're having very crisis meetings. I mean, he's a Muslim. What's next? Other people could join the Muslams. Right. They could also become not Muslim. They can become atheists. Oh no, what's next? We could have an atheist. Guys, we could have an atheist mayor. What'll happen? What'll happen then? Well, what if we have an atheist in Europa? What if Europa has atheists in power? What'll happen? I guess the apocalypse. You know, the world will blow up. That's what's going to. We'll have an atheist Muslim Scientologist in Europa. They'll satanically immigrate to Americas and we'll lose everything. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Or you're just a bunch of nutcase morons. Now, granted, I'd have to say reluctantly, Charlie Kirk is actually smarter than Aaronis, but they're both vicious thugs. But Aaronis is the more obvious thug. I'll give points to Charlie for trying to be nice, whereas Aaronis, he doesn't play nice anymore. He's just evil. Pure, unabated evil. Whereas Charlie Kirk is just more stupid evil.
Nowadays, your frail ass is like whining. You don't live in New York City, but when you visit, and it's already like so accommodating for people who speak English, and you're acting as though it's fallen, brother, it's more easy to get around as an English speaker than it ever has been. Okay.